one of my deepest, most vulnerable fears deep inside is that I am doing this all wrong. And it's from that place, I can only speak for myself, but as being someone who kind of can read into these layers of people, I think from this place of not know it, there's no way their minds are gonna know. None of this is meant for our minds to know, and this, I mean life, being a human. I mean navigating this matrix, navigating such heaviness and doubt and fear, and it's not going to make sense in the mental body. It can only make sense in the heart. That's the only place that we're really ever going to find true safety. And I think that from the space of, oh my God, am I doing this all wrong? There's a few layers to that. So one is like, is there consequence to doing it wrong? Like, do I have to come back here? This is kind of where we get stuck in that concept of like ascension and high frequency and healing, right? We get kind of stuck in this polarizing idea that there's this right way to do it, and if you don't do it, then you're punished. So where did that come from, right? I think there are laws of energy that create cycles and karma, but they're neutral. And when, as humans, get kind of stuck in that loop that's not neutral, that's very fear-based. So can these cycles, and I'm asking myself this really, I mean, this is my inner process. That's what I do here. I don't know how else to fucking show up. I can't put on that facade, From the space of, I'm going to back it up. From that space of fear that I'm doing it all wrong, I can see where that would be, where an intense attachment would be to my opinion, rules, right? So that's where we attach from. So on the spiritual journey, looking around at all of the things, all the different teachers, all the different rules, all the different channeled messages that are telling us, do it like this, don't do it like this, this is the end goal. The reason that we attach to that is because we're afraid, which is pretty fascinating, right? Because, saying fear or love, we think that we're attaching to these spiritual principles and these concepts of ascension and healing and all this inner work and being a light worker and being a starseed from love. More often than not, if we're really honest with ourselves, attaching to external rules and structures is out of fear. And that's okay. It's just something to notice. This morning, the deepest cry inside of me is just a little sensitive girl, an inner child, saying, I want to go home. This ain't it. it's really hard sometimes here. And I'm so afraid sometimes that, like, oh my God, I'm doing it wrong. So there's this little girl who's susceptible to attaching to what other people are saying is right or wrong. And then that inner knowing gets shaken. So I have a pretty okay, decently established inner knowing where, for the most part, I am able to sift through the external rules and stipulations and pressures and feel good with myself and whatever the fuck this is. But then something will happen. Like, I'll see, it's always online, okay? It's always this, like, overstimulation of information. And we live in an information age. So now, more than ever, it is vital for us to develop regulated energy systems within our own beings, to be able to filter all the information through a space of inner neutrality and self-love, and without the mental body, or with a lot less of the mental body. It is no easy feat. It's not. This is where discipline comes in. And I talk a lot about surrender and just kind of floating around. But as I continue to, just be here, right, in linear time, I've realized that the reason that I've been able to cultivate that surrender piece is through discipline. Like, I just owe everything to having thrown myself into the intensity and discipline of Kundalini all those years ago. I owe everything to it. It taught me my mind. It helped me refine my mind. And I think that, I'm not this like super duper yogi, perfect meditator person, but somewhere in there, I kind of strengthened this muscle of neutrality to kind of spin around. Whatever, no one fucking cares, doesn't matter. So I was feeling good, and then I scrolled online and I saw an opinion, and then I started digging and I saw more opinions, and then I dug even more down YouTube and Reddit and Google and Instagram, like all the things. And all of a sudden I found myself in this paralyzed state of, oh my God, I'm doing it all wrong. There's something wrong with me. Everyone else has it figured out. Everyone else has this like really strong stance, and I'm doing it wrong. And for me, that's like a very dark place to be, because I'm shaming a part of myself. I'm really creating a very strong sense of polarity within my own system. That's a very, again, a mental body, like overactive mental body place to be. So yeah, I'm sharing this, I guess, just again share my like behind the scenes, just human processing. And I like to think that this vulnerability just brings the right people into this vortex. Like, what is Cure Grace? What is the cosmic tea? What is a business? I don't know. It's just really a vortex of sharing energy and exchanging energy. But I hope you feel safe and seen. I think that's all we can really ask for sometimes, in the depth of exploring ourselves and just trying to survive, honestly. Like, we're all trying to survive. And I see a lot of like very, whatever, spiritual accounts, so rigid in the opinion, like kind of the soapbox. And it can be disguised, not purposefully, but as, a strong spirit, like light worker stance or whatever. So I did it recently. Gotta stretch. In my recent like AI post, in the caption, there was definitely like an ego at play, which I wrote in the caption. Like, I think it's always good to like acknowledge, like, this is definitely a part of my ego. I don't know. I'm just going with it. It helps kind of soften, or it helps bring a little bit of like neutrality into having an opinion, having a stance. And, I was just talking about how like, I don't even remember. It doesn't even matter. But I had an opinion. And the true basis of having that opinion and feeling so compelled to like force it outward, whether it's right or wrong or whatever, it like really doesn't matter. That attachment to that opinion it's not coming from like peace and love. It's not. That intensity comes from fear. So someone who has the complete opposite opinion, right? Like that the AI app is 100% like a part of the next wave of the Antichrist, which sure, maybe, possibly, like whatever. Their opinion's also coming from fear. The intensity of that opinion, right? It's coming from fear. Fear that maybe they're not going to be believed. Maybe they're actually wrong. Maybe from a place of, I need to be heard. I need to be seen. I'm right. I'm here on a mission. And everyone else is not. Or, whatever. It's just always going to be, it's like so just wrapped up in the identity. And it's not, to label it as bad or whatever. Again, it's like, this is just opportunity to observe and really sit with like, well, how does this really make me feel? Having intense, strong opinions, it doesn't really feel that good to me. It feels intense on the energy body, the nervous system. Even if I think my opinions are right, it's still just this like game. Like medication. I'm doing the best I can. But there's this like fear inside, like, oh my God, am I doing it wrong? And then I start Googling, and then there's all these rules about ascension and starseeds and and I'm like, fuck. I gotta come back in and just narrow down my reality. What am I afraid of? What happens if I'm doing it wrong? What does that even mean? What does it mean? Who's the critic? Who's the critic? Who is this external critic? Where did that come from? Is it God? Really? No. Is it my inner being? No. So what is it? All right. Love you. Bye.